Yeah, man. What's up, family? What's up? Tapping in with the MOI family. It's the Copper Color King, man. We streaming through multiple platforms right now. And I got a good one for y'all today, man. For all the subscribers, for everybody that's out there that's tuning in, or that plans on tuning in, I just want to say I appreciate y'all. Much love. Much love. Copper Color King finna go crazy tonight, man. It's late. Honestly, I'm just now learning this StreamYard stuff, trying to function it better, trying to get it together so I could deliver this good content. We're gonna be talking about the Black Warrior today, man. My son, Chief Tuscaloosa, man. Chief Tuscaloosa. I need y'all to drop a comment if you know about this brother, man. If you heard about this brother. Drop a comment, man. Let me know what you know about Chief Tuscaloosa. Let's really get into it. What's the facts? What do y'all know about Chief Tuscaloosa? More or less, though, man. More or less. I'm going to just give y'all a quick breakdown real quick, right? Chief Tuscaloosa. What does that name mean? First and foremost, Tuscaloosa, it means Black Warrior. Black Warrior. Now, a lot of questions may appear when you ask yourself about this man, Chief Tuscaloosa. You know, was he a Native American? Was he an Indian? How did he look? What was his skin complexion? You know, what tribe? Where he come from? Well, I'll let y'all know right now. Tuscaloosa, they got their name from this man right here. Tuscaloosa got their name from this man right here, this copper-colored gentleman right here, who stood up for his people, fought for his people with all hopes to do the right thing, to liberate his people and protect them from the onslaught of the colonizing European. Now, this man's story goes back as far as 1500. Let's just say 1520. So this ain't none of that Native American, Siberian. I'm not finna hustle your ears off with this one. The story behind this brother is true. And you could tell it's true by the way he was stepping. He was stepping like a real black man. I ain't gonna lie. Real Copper King knew his worth. And he knew that there was no other land more important than the land that he and his people resided on. They loved their land. You know, they gave thanks to their land. Their land was everything to them. That's how things worked in these ancient societies, man. They did everything through the land. It was no say-so if the land didn't say it was okay. It was no say-so if the land didn't say so. Tecumseh was a Shawnee chief and warrior who promoted resistance to the expansion of the United States onto Native American lands. We're not talking about Tecumseh, though. I hear you, Jeremiah, but we're not talking about Tecumseh, though. We talking about Chief Tuscaloosa, Black Warrior. Stay in tune for this story. This one gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Like I just said, we finna go crazy. We finna snap. I'm not gonna hustle y'all ears off. Make sure y'all go follow me on TikTok, Copper Color King. Follow me on Instagram, Copper Color King. Subscribe to the YouTube channels, Copper Color King, Morals and Money. We active, man. We out here. We streaming across multiple platforms right now. And I want to appreciate the good brother for even introducing me to a strategy like this. I mean, like I said, I'm finna give y'all some real serious drop. But more or less though, man, let's really get into it. Let's really get into it. Right? Let's really get into it. Let me show y'all something real quick, right? I want to show y'all something. I might be bugging out right now. Like I said, we just now getting used to this stuff right here. I want to show y'all something. So, you know, just a regular day, you want to figure out who Chief Tuscaloosa is, right? You want to learn about who Chief Tuscaloosa is, the role he played in Aboriginal societies, and basically what he did to protect his people, how he represented his people. I mean, the brother went crazy. I ain't even gonna lie. Nah, yeah, we're gonna cook. We ain't gonna burn the food, definitely. We ain't gonna talk too much. But yeah, like I said, just imagine, right? You know, regular day, just chilling. You hear about this brother named Tuscaloosa. You do some research. You find out that his name means black warrior, right? And you go on Google and you decide to Google this brother to figure out who he is and even if he was actually a black warrior. You know, whitewashing did his number on American history. More or less though, so Google him and you decide to go into his story, you know, just to get some more information on who the brother is. And then you find out, right? Well, one of the first things that you see is this picture right here. This picture of what would be a light-skinned Native American, right? I'm gonna call that a Native American. We're not gonna call that an Indian. You see this picture, but then you think about it. You say to yourself, "Well, I just heard that this brother's name was Black Warrior. Why does he look like this?" This is an illustration by H. Rowe. I should have did the research on who H. Rowe was before I actually brought this to the channel, because depending on who that man is, we could get a lot of background on why this painting was whitewashed. Yeah. And then you go into his story, and then you find out that he was a paramount chief of the Mississippian chiefdom in the state that is now Alabama. You learn that his people were possibly ancestors to several southern Native American confederacies, not of the Native American confederacies, a possible ancestor. Big drop. This man is not a Native American. It's a big difference. But primarily the Chocktaw and Creek peoples. Now, for those who don't know, at one point in time, all these folks was considered Muskogean peoples. They were all considered to be Muskogean peoples. That's who they were. That's the language they spoke. Matter of fact, they spoke a Muskogean dialect. So Chocktaw Creek, Chickasaw, all of that is all one and the same. They all one and the same. As a matter of fact, at one point in time, they went by several different names, different bands, other than just Creek and Chocktaw. Several different names, and I'm gonna introduce that to the channel a little bit later in time. I don't want to stray too far away from the story. But yeah, so the man gets his name. I mean, Tuscaloosa, Alabama actually gets their name from him. That's how much of an impact he made down there, that they renamed the city after him. And in 2024, you have thousands of African-American young men whose ancestry comes from the Southeast, and they won't even know who this brother is. They'll be able to tell you about Marcus Garvey before they could tell you about Chief Tuscaloosa. And that's a fact. And it's sad. I'm not gonna lie, it's sad. But don't worry. Copper Color King is gonna introduce y'all. That's what I'm here for. So more or less, right? More or less, real quick. Let me check and see how we doing on this audio. Sorry, y'all. More or less, let's dive into the story about Chief Tuscaloosa, though. Let's say, yeah, he is notable for leading the Battle of Mobila, Alabama, at his fortified village against the Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto. This is important because I'm gonna show y'all some stuff about some stuff that got some stuff and some stuff. I ain't gonna lie. And basically, on Hernando de Soto's accounts, what he said these people looked like once he got here to the Americas. He said it. Giovanni Verrazano, he said it. Hernan Cortez said it. We got several different explorers on several different accounts pointing out and noting that these brothers over here in America are as black as the Ethiopians in Africa or the Gypsies in Europe, or have black skin like coal, copper colored, brown copper colored, different accounts, and we're gonna get into it. But yeah, what it say? After being taken hostage by the Spanish as they passed through his territory, Tuscaloosa organized a surprise attack on his capital at Mobila, but was ultimately defeated. Right? And it says contemporary records describe the paramount chief as being very tall and well built, with some of the chroniclers saying Tuscaloosa stood a foot and a half taller than the Spaniards. His name derived from the Western Muskogean language. Elements Tuskalusa means black warrior. Black warrior. So with a name like that, you would assume, right, that this is a black man. I mean, you look at the black widow spider. If you look at the black widow spider, you Google it, what color is the spider? It's black. It's black. Yeah. Shout out Birmingham, Alabama, though. Shout out Birmingham, Alabama. Yo, go look into this legendary black brawler. That's a fire at name too. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out all my DBZ fans, man. Rest in peace to Corey Toriyama. Rest in peace to the GOAT. Dropping years and years and years of hits back to back. But yeah, this man, Tuscaloosa, could have been the black Broly, bro. He could have been the black Broly. Word of my mother. Word of my mother. He could have been the black Broly. That's a fact. I wouldn't doubt it, not one bit. And with that being said, right, I want to show y'all. I want to do this without messing up this live stream, right? Because StreamYards is so sensitive to the screens that you do decide to share. So I'm gonna go and get this information. Give me a minute. I'm gonna pull it up because it's good information. And like I said, these are the different accounts according to these different Spaniards and what they said these Aboriginal peoples look like. So when we thinking about Tuscaloosa, the black warrior, we got to think about it, bro. Like, why did they call him black warrior? What about this man was black, right? And I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all exactly why they called Chief Tuscaloosa black warrior. And this is going based off of the accounts of, like I said, Giovanni de Verrazano, aka Juan Verrazani, and Hernan de Soto himself, right? So in this tab here, what do we have? Oh, give me a second, y'all. See, that's what I said. This shit is metal. In this tab here, what do we have? Right? What do we have? The book, The History of Hernando de Soto in Florida, or record of the events of 60 years from 1512 to 1568. So what they about to talk about now is basically Hernan de Soto's voyage through the Americas and basically what he saw when he got here, what these people look like, the images, you know, the imagery of the land, the layout, the characteristics. They're gonna go into it. And this is off of Juan Verrazani's accounts himself. Now, if you don't know where this man explored, he explored the Carolinas and Florida and going towards New Hampshire and New York up north in Canada. He explored that part, that outer rim of the Americas. And when he got the Carolinas and the Florida, this man said he saw copper-colored men. Right? So like I said, we go look at this image of Chief Tuscaloosa. This is not anything close to what Verrazani said he saw. And I'm going to show y'all. Now let's read. Right? We on page 82. Right? And what it says. Let me zoom in for y'all, for those who won't be able to see. I know a lot of shit. My eyesight probably been failing over the years too. I was supposed to been seeing better, but I started seeing worse. I ain't gonna lie, it's probably from sitting in front of these computers too damn long, but I appreciate it because I get to give y'all this good content. So, what it says: the following extract contains Verrazani's account of the new country, which he reached on the 20th of March 1523. All right, so he arrived in the Americas on March 1523. Remember this timestamp, right? Y'all go get y'all pen and pads. For those who's tuned in, get your pen and pad, like the good brother minister be saying. Write down this date, 1523. right? Because a lot of these images that we see of these brothers, they didn't start publicizing these probably until the late 1800s. You didn't see whitewashed images of historically powerful and symbolically powerful, or in that sense, because you know they named the city after him. You don't see those images in the 1700s. But as the 1800s start to come about, you start seeing these whitewashed paintings starting to pop up, who these brothers could have been. His description looks nothing like this artistic drawing. It says he died 1540. So he died 20 years after Verrazani found the Americas, which is crazy. I think he died at like 45 or 50. So the brother didn't even get to live majority of his life, and it was cut short because of the arrival of these mofos. Yeah. At first, it appeared to be very low, but on approaching it to within a quarter of a league from the shore, we perceived by the great fires near the coast that it was inhabited. We perceived that it stretched to the south and coasted along in the direction in search of some port in which we might come to anchor. They was looking for land and examine into the nature of the country. But for 50 leagues, we could discover none in which we could be secure. They couldn't find no land for 50 leagues. Now, if you guys are familiar with that style of language, drop in the comment and let folks know what's 50 leagues. Let people know. What does 50 leagues represent? Peace and love, man. Peace and love. Peace and love. What does 50 leagues represent? Give that to us in the form of yards or miles, or kilometers, whatever you could do. Right. Seeing the coast still stretching to the south, we resolved to change our course and stand to the northward. And as we still had the same difficulty, we drew in with the land and sent a boat on shore. Many people who were seen coming to the seaside fled at our approach, but occasionally stopping, they looked back upon us with astonishment, and at length were induced by various friendly signs to come to us. These showed the greatest delight in beholding us, wondering at our dress, countenance, and complexion. They was looking at them like, "Oh, look at the pale face." They look like the giants that been coming out of the cliffs and the mountains and stuff like that. See, when they tell these stories, right, we gotta dodge all of this right here, because this is basically them trying to represent themselves as some white majestic eagle soaring onto the land, like looking all good and powerful, or whatever the case may be, when in reality a lot of these brothers was black, brown, mulattoes, Sephardi's, Jews coming from Europe. I mean, they weren't even as white as the paper they wrote this story on, to be honest with you. But when they tell us this, they make it seem like they was looking like, oh my God, they so majestic, right? But in that same token, Chief Tuscaloosa was like, who these? Yeah, these niggas. My kingdom is way bigger than theirs. They can't dance with me. They can't sit with me. And he knew that. And the Soto and them, once they started to get that energy from him, that he knew he was the shit, they had to do it. Yeah, we got to take him out. We got to take him out, because if we don't get him, we're gonna get us first. They then showed us by signs where we could more conveniently secure our boat, and offered us some of their provisions. Of their manners and customs, I will relate as brief as possible as what we saw. Right, listen to this. They go entirely naked, except that about the loins. They wear skins of small animals like martins, fastened by a griddle of plaited grass, to which they tie all around the body the tails of other animals, hanging down to the knees. All other parts of the body and head are naked. Some wear garlands similar to birds' feathers, garments, stuff like that. The complexion of these people is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick and not very long. It is worn tied back upon the head in the form of a little tail. In person, they are of good proportions, of middle stature, a little above our own, broad across the breast, strong in the arms, and well formed in the legs and other parts of the body. This is probably because these people were extremely active. You know, they played baseball, they played hockey, they played football, they played sports, the chase, the hunt, exercising. They did stuff like that. They real life did stuff like that. And people, right. Let's pop that shit. Let's pop that shit, Brody. But they did stuff like that. And people, they dismiss it. People dismiss it, right? They think that these folks was just like goddamn ants crawling out of the nest, swarming. Not meaning a swarm, savages. You know, no type of customs or belief systems or ways of life. That they called them ugly and mad different accounts and stuff like that. But then go and talk about these representations right here. You telling me they black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. If you telling me that, then you telling me that they look like me. And nigga, I know I ain't ugly. I look good. I look real good. And I'm proud of that. My mother and father produced a handsome young black man. They produced a handsome young black man. And look, let me tell y'all something, right? Let me tell y'all something. And this all goes back to what I tell people today, right? Be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are. Embrace your skin. Embrace yourself. Embrace those who embrace you. Embrace everything about you. You wake up and you look in that mirror and you look at your colored skin, the melanin. You know, what they've been telling you all this time was ugly. Embrace it. Embrace it. Take it in stride. Tell yourself that you the best looking thing every day. You cooking in the pot. Real shit. But I'll tell y'all something, right? We got a lot of people in our community who they don't have enough faith in themselves. And that's because throughout history, we've let them dictate what the image of a copper-colored person is supposed to look like, what a beautiful person would look like. We let them dictate that image. When that's not something that we should be letting people do. We are the true people of the land. We got to love and embrace it every step of the way. Every step of the way. Now, moving forward, though, right? There's some other things that I wanted to show y'all. Just let me get through it real quick. Definitely, let me get through it real quick. Got to go over this right here. So this is an image, and I got this from one of my books, The History of Tuscaloosa. This is an image of what they said Chief Tuscaloosa would have looked like. This is in the book. And it's crazy because when I'm on Pinterest, Googling, or searching for my information, I stumbled upon this picture and I'm like, yo, wow, I just seen this in the book. So you telling me that y'all got this image, Chief Tuscaloosa, y'all got this image of Chief Tuscaloosa on Google, right? As the black warrior, this prominent man, standing tall, broad chest, broad arms, stuff like that. That's Chief Tuscaloosa. But when we go in the book, right, we see an image like this. Now, y'all tell me, right, in the comment section, y'all let me know, what skin color is that Indian? Check it out. What skin color is this Indian right here? What skin color is this Indian? Let me know. They said this was Chief Tuscaloosa right here. But when you go in the book, that's what you see. So I just need to know, who's the real black warrior? If you ask me, this brother looks like the real black warrior. This is what the real black warrior would look like, right? And I got some more. This is a statue that they said this can be a statue of Chief Tuscaloosa, the iron that walks. This can be a statue of the good brother. I mean, I wouldn't even know. I would have to do some research on this myself, because along with the whitewashing of images, put a lot of stuff up on the internet, and try to correlate it with stuff that has no type of correlation with. And that's where we have these communities that put out this false information. They putting out false information, like Certified Satch put on TikTok. He said, you know, this is why people think the copper colored community is weird, because we got a bunch of people posting pictures of black Siberian Native Americans saying that that's their ancestors. Nah, they just mixed with that, and they had Siberians who was black, but nah, that's not the original copper colored people. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures of the original copper colored people. Matter of fact, let me try to pull one up now while I'm here. Let me try to pull one up now if I could. Let's try to do this, right? Let's do this. What I got? Let me try to pull an image up for y'all. We're gonna look at one of these copper colored beautiful women I got for y'all right here. Right? Because most people, they don't understand. They don't understand. They don't understand. Oh yeah, by the way too, it's what they mean when they say black like an Ethiopian. It's what they mean when they say black like an Ethiopian. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. Hold up. I'm cooking. Cooking right now. I'm getting all my images in order. I'm cooking. That's what they say is black like an Ethiopian. That's the Ethiopian. That's a black Ethiopian right there. So when they say black like an Ethiopian, this is what they talking about. As a matter of fact, this is what they talking about. We get into it. Let's really get into it. Let's really get into it. This is the ancestors. These are the ancestors. This is what they look like. This is not a Siberian Native American. This is an indigenous woman from the Southeast. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Drop a comment if you rocking with it, bro. Drop a comment if you're rocking with it. That's all I'm saying. If you tuned in right now, I need y'all to go crazy in that comment section, man. Go crazy and put on for your people. Put on for your tribe. Put on for your tribe, man. We all brothers and sisters in that, right? You know, even though all skin ain't kin, when we connect in this aspect, we're all brothers and sisters, man. We are all brothers and sisters. Yeah. I want to go over something else too, right? I got some more fire for y'all. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this. I'm going to just pull the images up and we could just read along. I'm going to try to get the best clarity of these images that I could. I can't even do that. It is what it is. But we're going to go into this book right here too, though. The Indian Races of North and South America. We're going to go into this book because they talk about a lot in that one. They go crazy in that one. I'm going to cap. But they even explained in that book the description of the Aboriginal people and what they could have looked like. They make a clear explanation. They give a clear explanation. And I want to show it to y'all so bad because it's the highlight of this episode right here. It's the highlight of this episode. There's stuff like this that they hide or they keep out of our reach. Right? They keep it out of our reach. Right? So let's check it out. Let's go into it. I'm gonna try to get it for y'all right now. Right. So let's read. What does it say? So this is from the book Indian Races of North and South America. And they talking about right now the complexions and descriptions of the Aboriginal peoples in the West Indies and North America. Right, and it says vague accounts of islands or continents at the west are found in the works of many early writers. The Atlantis of Plato, the Hesperides, and a host of other uncertain fables have been tortured by ingenious antiquaries into proof of more extensive geographical knowledge than is generally attributed to the ancients. Some theorists have indefatigably, right? I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. Maybe y'all can help me in the comment section below. Followed up the idea that we are to search for the lost tribes of Israel among the red men of America. Right? What do we know about the lost tribes? Let's just do a quick Bible breakdown real quick, right? Shem, Ham, Japheth. Now, Shem's line produces the lost tribe. We all know that Shem's line is the progenitor of the Negroes. For those who didn't know that, now you know. Now you know. Shem's line is the progenitor for all Negroes. So when they saying that, they got to look for the evidence of the 12 tribes, the lost tribes amongst the red men of America. What are they technically considering the red men of America to be? Right? They calling them Negroes. They calling them Negroes. In addition to this, right, I want y'all to check this out. The definition of Adam and Eve, the etymology of Adam and Eve. We got to get into that because it's within that we have to understand what it means. You know, what it means. What does Adam mean? What does Eve mean? What do these terms mean? Right? What do these terms mean? Let's check it out. We're going to go into it. So I'm going to get it ready, right? Look on Google and I'm going to break this down for y'all. Let's look at what these terms mean, man. That's what these terms mean. Right. So, Adam and Eve, we're going to look at the etymology, the meanings. Right? So, the etymology of the word Adam connects it with Adama. I want y'all to see this. Let me show y'all. The etymology, where we at? The etymology of the word Adam connects it with Adama, ground or soil, and with Adom, red. This suggests that Adam was formed from red soil or clay. Now, we all know soil is not really red. What's the color of soil? Soil is black, right? And then the etymology of Eve is basically to nurture, to provide water, to get stuff like that. That's the etymology of those terms. But sticking with the Adam one, we just look at soil. Soil is brown. There's nothing red about soil. There's nothing red about soil. There's nothing red about soil. When we look at soil, we got like about several different types. It took me all the way to Home Depot. But that's crazy though, because we don't have no type of red soil. Most of it is either brown or black. So when you're talking about Adam and Eve, and you're referring to these people as the tribes, right? Biblically, Adam, right? Men of earth, you would be referring to the red men of America. The Negroes, the true people of the dirt, the people who came from Mu, the Mother Earth. Make it make sense. Gotta make it make sense. Yes, sir. Throw them leaves up in there, baby. Throw them leaves up in there. This for the tribe. This for the family. But you got to make it make sense. Right? So now that I done brought that one to y'all, I got another one that I would love to go into. Another dope from another one of my books that I got over here on this good old computer that I got of mine. Now, I got to get better at this sharing screen stuff because I ain't even going to lie. I suck at it. I suck. But you know what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to get better over time. Definitely going to get better over time. And I'm going to be delivering so much more content. So I just need y'all to stick around, bro. Stick around. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Morals and Money platform. Right now, if you haven't done it and you're tuned into the live stream, I'm going to drop it in the comment section below. Matter of fact, we're going to put this on the banner. We're going to throw this on the banner. Subscribe to the Morals and Money channel, man. On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, man. Subscribe to Morals and Money on YouTube. Because what I got to deliver for y'all, straight up fire. Dope. Every day. Every day. We really doing the research. If you go look at the channel, I got like 30-something videos of content similar to stuff like this. We talking about many different figures from back then. We talking about the mounds, you know, ancient America, the true old world. Information over there from Europe. We getting into the history of the black man for real, where the black man really comes from, where he originated at, how he got here to this point, and that we are where we are today, to where we can only identify with the term black. When you got black Europeans, black Asians, black Tartarians, Genghis Khan was allegedly black. Big drop for y'all. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into it. But more or less though. More or less, yeah, brother, yeah, bro. Go subscribe, man. Go subscribe. And y'all can subscribe to my channel too, man. Copper Color King. They go hand in hand though. What goes on Morals and Money, I break that down into shorter videos and I put that on the CCP channel because I want people to see, like, I mean, for those who don't have attention span to attach to things for that long, I got shorter videos up there for y'all. But yeah, Bruce Lee, tap in, bro. Come subscribe. I see you around a lot when I get on here with MOI. I see you around a lot, so we definitely can talk about it. We can chop it up. We can learn, man. Share some information. But yeah, I continue to mumble rap. So this is from the book, right? The Creeks, the early history of the Creek Indians and their neighbors. So in this section right here, they talk about the ethnological information regarding the Kasubo. In addition to the Kasubo, they're going to talk about Creeks, Cherokees, Choctaws, and Chickasaws. All Muskogees, right? All Muskogees. But let's get into it. What do it say? Ethnological information regarding the Kasubo is scanty and unsatisfactory. Interest of the colonists having been quickly attracted to those great tribes lying inland, which they called nations, right? The English term for what you would call these people are nations or tribes. But at that time, back in the day, there was not an Aboriginal person walking the land that would identify themselves as a nation or a tribe. It wasn't around saying, yeah, I'm a Chocktaw, I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Chickasaw, well, I'm a Creek. They didn't do stuff like that. These names are exonyms. Pen and pad, y'all. Get y'all pen and pad. These names are exonyms. These are names given to groups of peoples from outside entities, not from within. They didn't develop these names themselves. As a matter of fact, an even bigger drop, these two, Chocktaw and Chickasaw, are actually names that belong to people. Let me explain. Let me cook. Chickasaw and Choctaw are two brothers who migrated out of Mexico into America. And they were a part of the tribe of these group of peoples that we know as Choctaws and Chickasaws, or Muskogees. Let's say Muskogees. And as time went on, you know, they introduced themselves to Europeans. Europeans have no other way to characterize them. You know, they end up identifying them as Choctaws and Chickasaws. The only other way they can identify them as. That's it. Because these people, they needed interpreters, first of all, to learn and understand their language. So you could already assume that it was a lot of things being lost and misinterpreted in translation. Right, but what does it say? Right. Nevertheless, it is of interest to know that certain features of the lives of these people were or were not shared with ones better known. The material gathered by the Spaniards as a result of the Albion expedition is given in connection with the account that venture and will not be considered again. The region to which it applies is too uncertain to consider it under this head. From the time of the French settlement in 1562, right? French settled, 20 years after the death of Chief Tuscaloosa, and they were still seeing black people. So it's 20 years after the death of Chief Tuscaloosa. Chief Tuscaloosa died 1540. He died 1540. Chief Tuscaloosa died 1540, right? And 20 years later, 22 years later, they still seeing black people out there. Right? But you're going to tell me that these Siberians were here first, or those are the true Indians, or that's the images that you're going to show, you know, to keep black people distant away from their true history. I get it. I get it. You don't want to tell us the truth. Listen, man, and I'm so tight because I just did this video, right? The history of hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and all of that. Bro, Europeans would steal your grandmother's underwear if they could. If they could get up in there to book your grandmother for her underwear, they're going to get up in there and steal her underwear. And they're going to steal her 6-month-old toothbrush, too. And they might take her dentures, right? They might take her dentures. No cap. They'll steal everything, though. They stole our history. They stole it. They rewrote history. They rewrote it so bad that what existed in the 1500s, you can't even find a picture of it now. And that's sad. That's sad. We need those images in our community. We need those images, because that Afrocentrism, that out of Africa stuff is not working. Why? Because if you tell me to go back there, I'm going to tell you no. I don't know nobody over there. I'm not from there. I don't speak their language. There's nothing I could connect to other than us sharing a melanated skin complexion. That's it. But when I use discernment and I focus in and I see, right, that I really should be connecting to, you can feel it when you step on the land. I know once I touch my first mound, I'm going to get superpowers. I'm going to get me some mother-loving superpowers. Yeah, that's right. For sure. Right, but weird what they say. However, we have sufficiently clear localization from the French, Spanish, and English narratives successful. Clear localization from all three of these badman, bati fishes, all three of them. Right, the greater part of our information comes, however, from French and English. The Spaniards not having been interested in the people among whom they came, or not having published those papers which contained accounts of them. Yes, they do. They got some. They definitely do got some, and we're going to talk about it. The following general descriptions of the appearance of the natives and their mental and moral characteristics is from Alexander Hewitt. It does not apply to the Kosubo alone, but Hewitt was probably better acquainted with them than any other Indian. All right, so we got a brother named Alexander Hewitt. In addition to H.B. Cushman, right, and the dude who was around when DeSoto was around. I forgot he had a Spanish name. No, he had a Spanish name, and he was the last man standing from the Narvaez expedition. So you had a brother by the last name of Narvaez. Maybe I can help you in the comment section. If you have an idea on who that is, somebody Google it for me. Google it for me and put in the comment section who was the Narvaez brother that came to America for Hernan DeSoto. Because when DeSoto got here and he was on the land, he ended up stumbling upon this dude who was on that land for at least 3 years prior. And he was a remnant. He was one of the remnants of the Narvaez expedition. He needed him as an interpreter. This Narvaez dude lived with the Indians for some time, and they said he even blended in due to the color of his skin. So what does that tell us about DeSoto and his homeboys? They were copper colored as well. Yeah, big facts. Well, we don't know. He could have been, right? According to Columbus, if Columbo was black, then he definitely was too. In stature, they are of a middle size, neither so tall yet so low as some Europeans. Look, they just said this too in DeSoto joint, right? They are a little bit taller than Europeans, a little bit taller, just a little bit, but they are similar. Body types are similar, right? And there's a reason for that. The appearance, they are strong and well made, yet they are totally unqualified for that heavy burden or tedious labor which the vigorous and firm nerves of Europeans enable them to undergo. None of them are deformed. Deformities of nature being confined to the ages of art and refinement. Their color is brown. Their skin shines, being varnished with bare fat and paint. The only thing that stood out on this part to me was that they said they have no beards and no hair. I went and Googled and learned myself that they will cut their hair. See, look, it being customary among them to tear out such hair by the root. They grew hair. They grew it. It's not like they didn't grow it. They grew hair, but they cut it off. You know, they shaved the beard, like cut the hair to where it's evened out. You know, they were experts and stuff like that already. They were their own stylists, stuff like that. Next time you go get your hair done by your stylist, that's for the ladies, right? If she's a Black American, African American, just pay attention to how she style your hair. And then you go watch you a video, right? I'll actually drop the video in the description of how these people used to treat their hair. Watch that video and then compare it to the stylist, right? It's a lot of similarities. People won't know that though. People will not know that. You know, that's like a like one of those things that's like, oh, new discovery. They not gonna know. They just not gonna know. But more or less, though, man, I want to move forward. Let's continue. Let's do the damn thing. I want to continue, right? So the next thing that I want to bring to y'all, right, comes from the book of the Chocktaw, Chickasaw, and Natchez, the history of these groups of peoples. It comes from the book of the history of these groups of peoples, right? We're going to go over it. And real quick, man, I just want to appreciate y'all. Like, we got this live jumping right now. I ain't even going front. We got this live jumping right now. Personally, Panfilio de Navarrete. It could be. It could be. Hold on. Let me see. Panfilio de Navarrete, a Spanish conquistador and soldier in the Americas. Born in Spain, he first sailed to the island of Jamaica, then Santiago in 1510. Oh. Then Santiago in 1510. Hold up, I gotta show this to y'all. Let's take a look at this right here. Let's take a look at this right here. All right, because Bruce Lee, he just gave us a big drop. He just gave us a big drop. Because what else? What else can we go at, right? What else can we look at? He just gave us some fire. So we got Panfilio de Navarrete, assuming that's how you pronounce his name. I really don't care to butcher these niggas' names. I'm not gonna lie. I'll butcher them with my bare hands if I really could, right? Because what they did was they took away that opportunity to see what that culture was like. I be fasting. I'm heavy in the green corn ceremony. I'm heavy when it comes to the fermentation process of fruits. I literally got to go to a farmer's market, or I'll go a little upstate to a farm to get some of the things that I would consume for myself. Is that real? Because I'm trying to stay connected to my ancestral roots. So I'll butcher this nigga with my bare hands. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. He was born in Spain, first sailed to the island of Jamaica. He participated in the conquest of Cuba and then led an expedition to Camagüey, escorting Bartolome de las Casas. He is best remembered as the leader of two failed expeditions, right? The first of which began in 1519 and ended in 1520 after defeat and capture in battle against Hernan Cortez. These niggas were fighting each other. Whitewash photo, by the way. Whitewash photo. You know what? What stands out to me so much, and it's so funny though, because it's like these mother lovers that give us wild pictures of these ancient people, right? And they all look alike. How you draw the same nigga 50 million different times? That's crazy, bro. And none of us ever stop to like ask that question, like, yo, why all these pictures of these niggas all look the same? Why they all look the same? Right? They all look the same. This one right here, he could have been a swarthy man, right? This is a nice sketch right here. I'm not even gonna lie, because there's a lot that we can tell from the sketch. But yeah, so what we got? His second expedition, the Navarrete expedition, began in 1527 and ended for him with his death the following year. Only 4 men returned from it, reaching present-day Mexico City in 1536. He was named Adelantado by Carlos V before embarking on that final expedition. So yes, this is the man. This is the man. Navarrete. So this is who came before to Americas before Hernan de Soto. Right? This is who he was. And he died 20 years before the good, great chief Tuscaloosa. He died 20 years before. These timestamps is sticking in my head now, man. They sticking in my head because I can't forget. Why would I forget? Look, we got to look at these timestamps, right? 1540, Chief Tuscaloosa died. Navarrete, he died 1528. 28 years before Tuscaloosa himself died. Wow. I mean, even when this Navarrete dude made it here to the Americas, it was smoke with Tuscaloosa too. But he died before he could even see Tuscaloosa meet his demise. I'm pretty sure Like the hating ass niggas that they are, that was something that he wasn't satisfied with. Well, he knocked him in the dirt. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. But we're gonna continue with the story though. I don't want to sidetrack too much though, like I said. So now that we came across that, we got an understanding of this situation right here. We are going to go into the history of the Chocktaw, Chickasaw, right? In this book, they give us a story, the story of Tuscaloosa, right? What happened at Mobila, Alabama, what happened, how they burned the village down and massacred all of the inhabitants of the village. And Tuscaloosa, prior to that event, he wasn't with them. Like, he really wanted them to beat it. And because they felt so threatened, the colonizers felt so threatened, they felt that it was in their best interest to attack them. In that same event, in that same token, Tuscaloosa was planning on getting his get back. He was planning on getting his get back. Yeah. Timestamps, bro. Timestamps. Nah, he laughing. I'm dead serious, bro. They'll steal everything, bro. These niggas are steal pennies out your piggy bank. Word. They're stealing pennies out your piggy bank, and it's sad. Like, you gotta really watch them. These. But yeah, timestamps are important, bro. Timestamps are extremely important. Like, we gotta keep it in mind when we talking in terms of timestamps, because that actually helps us understand a lot of the information better. So let's continue though. So let's get ready for the story. We're gonna tell this story from two different books, right? From two different books, this story about to be told. But we're gonna take both pieces of information, merge them together, make a final conclusion, treat it like a science project. Can I get an amen? Drop a comment, amen, man. Drop in the comments, I mean. Oh, matter of fact, drop in the comments copper color, and do it for the people that you love, the melanated people, all of the melanated people, man. I love all my melanated people. Let's do it. Yeah, what it say? All right, let's start right here. So the Choctaws were first made known to the European world by the journalist of that memorable adventurer, Hernan de Soto, who invaded their territory October 1540 and introduced the so-called race of mankind to the Choctaws and following men. So 1540, the year he invaded their territory, is the same year Tuscaloosa met his demise. So upon meeting this, he didn't even get a year in after meeting this nigga. He got packed up. You gotta watch these niggas, bro. Like, they are really conniving, dirty. Like they opened up arms to them, to the Spaniards, and Tuscaloosa knew something wasn't right. He knew something wasn't right. They opened up their arms to these niggas. And all they did was spoil the crops, rape the women, kill the children, sick dogs on them. They were sicking hounds on them, right? And these niggas is so savage that when they ain't have nothing to eat, and I ain't talking about the Aborigines, because they lived off the land. These Europeans, because they didn't understand the land, when they didn't have nothing to eat, they ate them damn dogs. Dirty mother lovers. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. They ate the dogs. Yeah. They was eating them dogs. Yeah. Drop a copper color in the comment section, man. Let's do it. That's what I like to see. They ate them dogs. Savages. Yes, bro. Look. We're going to get into it. One of the things that I'm going to do on the channel, right, is I'm going to bring that entire voyage of Hernan de Soto. I'm going to bring that to the live stream. And we're going to talk about it. Because we're going to see a lot, with the sun and moon worship, with those dudes, a lot of the Temucas, a lot of the boat fights, or let's just say the Navy fleet wars that were happening in the Gulf of Mexico, right? You dive in the Gulf of Mexico today, you probably find Black Jack's treasure. What's his name? Blackbeard. You probably find this treasure. Because they was really smoking shit in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm not even going to lie. So many different Navy battles that happened in that specific body of water. Mad relics at the bottom of the Gulf at the bottom. Even stuff that was taken from the land as an event of the hurricanes that happened over time and a potential earthquake that happened in Louisiana. A lot of that stuff that was on the land found its way into the water. So the water of the Gulf of Mexico, they got a lot. It's a lot in there. But yeah, so back to the book. I feel like I keep getting track. We're going to continue, and I'm going to just do this without stopping. So, yeah. A manly young Indian of splendid proportions and with a face extremely attractive and interesting visited DeSoto after he had left Tallahassee. He was the son of Tuscaloosa, corruption of the Choctaw words Tuska, warrior, Lusa, black, a renowned chief whose territories extended to the distant Tom Bigby in the west. So the person we're talking about in this one is the son of Tuscaloosa. I was reading and taking notes, and I didn't even eat that. Oh, that's crazy. All right, so look, that means the son was black too, by the way. Tom Bigby is a corruption of the Choctaw word Etomi box, box maker, a name given to the white man. It is said who, at an early day, settled on the banks of the river and made boxes for the Choctaws, and which were placed in the bones of their dead, which will be particularly noticed elsewhere. The young warrior bore an invitation from his father to DeSoto to visit him at his capital. The next day, DeSoto advanced into within 6 miles of where the great chief awaited him, made a halt, and sent Luis de Masaco with 15 horsemen to inform Tuscaloosa of his near approach. Masaco and his troops soon appeared before Tuscaloosa, who was seated upon an eminence commanding a broad and a delightful view. Yeah, he basically what they saying, right? If we take this imagery, right, that the author is using, and we just break it down, he was sitting on the high chair, the high seat, like the highest in the room, like the big dog chair. He was sitting in the big dog chair. They said that these people have no type of sophisticated culture. Then what do you call that? What do you call that? Like reading it, when I read that, I'm looking at it as like, all right, when you watch Emperor's New Groove in Cusco, the movie from Disney, how son was sitting on his old chair at the top of the mountain or the top of his temple, whatever the case may be. This is basically stating that he was seated upon the eminence commanding a broad and delightful view. He was seated above everybody else. He was the big dog. And they had a sophisticated style of culture. Not a hierarchy. He was just the one that led his people. Like the medicine man. Everybody had a specific role in these ancient civilizations. It wasn't no president, secretary of state, none of that. Account, a freaking man, none of that. It was none of that. These people lived different and united. It was based off of unity, right? It says, when DeSoto arrived, Tuscaloosa arose and advanced to meet him with a proud and haughty air and said, "Great chief, I receive you as my brother and welcome you to my country. I'm ready to comply with your requests." Right? Who he thought he was? This nigga thought he was deceiving Black Warrior? Yeah, all right. Because watch how Black Warrior started moving after several encounters with these notes. Right? Let's check it out. After a few preliminaries, in company with Tuscaloosa and his followers, DeSoto took up his line of march for Mobila, Alabama, the capital of the mighty chief. Yeah, Mobile, Alabama is one of those cities that was built on a megatropolis. That's what you would call it. A megatropolis, I think. A big city. Just like Memphis, just like Louisiana, Chicago, places in Ohio, big cities, Kentucky, St. Louis, big cities, right? So, yeah, he was the chief of this big poppin' ass city that pretty much kept it together for the entirety of the people. He was the big chief, the big dog, right? They relied on him. Not they relied on him. They relied on each other, but he led them, right? So let's continue. On the third day of their march from Piachi, a corruption of the Choctaw word Piachi, to care for us, they passed through many populous towns, well stored with corn, beans, and other provisions. Well stored. They had an abundance of food. You know, corn, maize, that was the cream of the crop for these people. You could make anything with maize. Anything. These people could make anything with corn. Anything. Word. The healthiest bread, right? You ain't never eaten bread like the bread they made from back in the day. These whole wheat loaves of bread, read the ingredients on it, right? Nothing like this fresh corn baked bread, right? Basically like sourdough, for those who don't know, right? And I only know this because I'm like heavy with the conscious community. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, I take that shit serious. Like, bro, I didn't watch too many of my family members, especially with this Aboriginal ancestry, go out to stuff like alcohol and obesity and all of that. Our people didn't live like that. That's another thing. Upon removing our culture from us, you introduce this new way of living that actually just kills our way of living, right? The new way of living kills the way of living, but the old way of living brings us to life. And it's crazy, bro. It's really crazy to think about it, because sometimes I'll be sitting there asking myself, right? I'll be like, what the hell? How did we come so far, right? Like, first they telling us our grandparents can't be Aborigines because the true Aborigines are these niggas, right? And then you telling us it's okay to eat McDonald's. And if I say that this is my ancestor, it's a lot. But then in the books, you saying my ancestors over here is the same color as the people from over there. You know, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going around, right? For the person who won't be able to focus their brain up and look at it from this perspective, they won't be able to see it through. They will not be able to see it through. Yeah, let's continue, bro. I'm chatting, man. Let's continue. Right, so on the fourth morning, De Soto with 100 cavalry and as many infantry made a forced march with Tuscaloosa in the direction of Mobila, leaving Moscow to bring up the rear. At 8 o'clock the same morning, October 18, 1540, De Soto and Tuscaloosa reached the capital. It stood by the side of a large river upon a beautiful plain and consisted of 80 handsome houses, each large enough to contain 1,000 men. What they said? Yo, look, Bruce Lee, if y'all still in, Black Brawley, if y'all still watching, right? Remember Copper Kelly King said this. They'd tell you these people were savages, right? They'd tell you that these people lived in teepees, you know, them little ass teepees. They'd tell you that these people rode in small ass canoe boats, right? They'd tell you that. But when you go and do the research yourself, remember I said this, everything they say, everything that they say out there in this world of fake information was a mother-loving lie. The Soto, they went to the capital. They stood on the side of the river and they saw 80 handsome houses, each large enough to contain 1,000 men. In the jets, y'all. And I could say in one project building alone, in my project, it's probably not 1,000 people in one project building alone. So when you go into the projects here in New York City and you look at these project buildings, you be like, damn, they big, right? You got a house large enough to contain 1,000 men? That's pretty big. So you telling me that they lived in teepees? If a teepee can fit 1,000 niggas, then sign me up. I want to buy one right now because it'll be cheaper than paying rent. I bet you that much. It'll be cheaper than paying rent. Sign me up. Put me in a teepee. I want a teepee right now. If it could fit 1,000 niggas, I want to buy a teepee. And then I'm gonna go buy me some land and live in the teepee on the land. 1,000 niggas in one house, bro. That's crazy, right? But look, they said it right here, right? And all fronting a large public square. God says in his book styled Our Wild Indians that the aboriginal inhabitants of the North American continent, the aboriginal inhabitants, not Native Americans, have never at any time exceeded 500,000 souls, right? Yet, however, according to DeSoto's journalists who were with him in his memorable raid, Mobila alone consisted of 80 handsome houses, each large enough to contain 1,000 men. And if each house contained several families consisting of men with 2 or 3 wives and children of all ages and sexes, occupied for all purposes of one lodge of 12 or 15 feet, right? One lodge, 12 or 15 feet in diameter, what must have been the number of the inhabitants in Mobila with 80 handsome houses, each large enough to contain 1,000 men, with 2, 3, or more wives, right? Because they believed in polygamy, and children occupying for all purposes. A space only 12 or 15 feet in diameter, right? And he says, the reader can make the calculations at his own leisure. Say what you want about it, right? However, it seems Mobila alone contained over half the number of souls that Dodge allows for the entire continent. Right? Dodge said it couldn't exceed over 500,000 souls. No, but what the houses and the land layout, the landscape is telling us that it can exceed way more than that. Over way more than half the number, way more than that. Right? Because these houses were huge, bro. They were not TPs, right? They were not TPs, right? Let's just look at a TP, bro. Because they really be like pulling my feathers with this one. You telling me one of these things right here could fit 1,000 niggas? If one of these, that's why I said, if this could fit 1,000 niggas, sign me up, bro. Like, where do I get my heat and water from? Right? And I want to set up some air conditioning too. And I want a parking spot because I'm getting it for the low. Right? And I'm moving my entire family inside that bad boy. And we won't ever have to struggle ever again. No more project living. We out to the TP. We are out to the TP. They said though. They say these people lived in teepees and houses made out of sticks and stones. But over 500,000 inhabitants? Over 500,000? That's big, bro. That's a lot of space. That's a whole lot of space, right? And look, and this goes back to the conversation Minister Chief and I was having yesterday. One of the brothers said that, our people built the Great Wall of China. Well, right? Our people were experts at building walls already. A high wall surrounded the town, made of immense trunks of trees, close together and deep in the ground, and made strong with heavy cross timbers interwoven with large vines. They did this to stop invaders. These tribes went to war with other peoples that was living on the American mainland. And you had wild different types of people living here in America. Mad different types of people. And these tribes, these peoples, Tuscaloosa and his homies, people like Osceola, Tuskegee, and Mabila, they were warring with these dwarfs and giants and flesh eaters and shit like that. Right? Let's continue though. A thick mud plaster resembling handsome masonry concealed the woodwork, while portholes were abundant, together with towers capable of holding 8 men each at the distance of 15 paces apart. So they had like a ceramic style plastering placed on the heavy cross timbers that was woven with large vines. It's like putting sheetrock up in drywall on an insulated building. Yeah, we handy dandy on this side, right? We got a building You got your wooden pillars or whatever the case may be. The wooden pillars, you nailing them together, and then that's the foundation. You put your insulation, all of the insulation and the padding and everything, and then you start putting up the sheetrock. The sheetrock and the drywall could be compared to the thick mud plaster. So the style of building homes had been the same ever since the 1500s. These niggas wasn't living in no teepees. They was building cribs the same way construction workers would build cribs. Today, so we really got to think about it, bro. We got to think about it, right? When we talking about the ancient and our ancestors and these aboriginal peoples, how primitive were they really? Or would they just overly advanced? How light-skinned and white were they? Were they really black warriors? We got to think about it. Well, we see from the documented proof, they were black warriors. We see that in the documented proof, right? And we see also they weren't as primitive as you may thought them to be. They were highly advanced, highly skilled, smart, very nurturing to their community too. We're gonna talk about a lot. I done made 57 I can say 57 10-minute videos out of this 200 pages of this book alone, and I could go on for hours with different topics. Yeah, I think y'all should definitely subscribe to tap in, like, especially if you on that type of time you want to learn. We here with it, right? There were 2 gates leading into the town. Up the gates, one on the east, the other on the west. The Soto and Tuscaloosa were escorted into the great public square with songs and chants and the dancing of beautiful Indian girls. This is where it gets interesting. This actually reminds me of that scene in Star Wars where at the end of the war, right? And I'm talking about the Phantom Menace, the one with Qui-Gon Jinn, or Qui-Gon, got his name. Qui-Gon, yeah. At the end of the war, they going through that area, the palace area, and as Obi-Wan Kenobi and the princess is walking through, they're like showering them, and you got that's neither here nor there. That's just the imagery in my head, man. Like when I read, I paint pictures. So they lighted from their horses and were given seats under a canopy of statue. Having remained seated for a short time, Tuscaloosa now requested that he should no longer be held as a hostage, to which the Soto, given no heed. The indignant chief at once arose and walked off with an independent attitude to where a group of his warriors stood. The Soto had scarcely recovered from his surprise at the independent conduct of Tuscaloosa when Jean Ortez followed the chief and stated that breakfast awaited him at the Soto's table. But he refused to return and added, "If your chief know what's best for him, he will immediately take his troops out of my territory." What? I told y'all he wasn't with that. He was not with that. Bro was like, yo, get him out of here. Black chief ready to set it off. Leave. If he know what's good for him, dip. Right now. Before I send my savages on your ass. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way you would want it to, but it just was a strong display of the courage that these people live their daily lives with. To move like that, and you see the type of firepower these niggas working with. They don't got guns and stuff yet, at least not that I knew of. But the type of swords, the tall, shiny ass, sharp ass swords, the metal plates, the metal armor, and Tuscaloosa looked at it. Yeah, I'll clip you, nigga. Straight up, just like that. And he told him, get off my land. Get off of my land. All right, let's continue. What we got? They prepared for an attack, right? Soto and his homeboys prepared for an attack. Then hoped to prevent an attack so he can again get possession of the chief. The Soto advanced towards him with assumed smiles and words of friendship. But Tuscaloosa scornfully turned his back upon him and was soon hidden among the multitude of now highly excited warriors. Yeah, they was ready, like, yeah, let's do this. Just then a warrior rushed out of a house, denouncing the Spaniards as robbers and murderers and declared that they should no longer impose on their chief by holding him as a prisoner. His words so enraged Baltasar Galactus that he cut the warrior in twain with one sweep of his cutlass, of his sword, his cutlass. Cutlass, right? I'll show y'all the type of swords. I ain't gonna lie. These niggas was out here rolling around with. They was out here with cutlass swords, and I ain't gonna lie. Those are some sharp swords, right? These cutlass swords. They was out here rolling around with these cutlass swords. Cutlass. That's what it was. A cutlass. Right? Chopped his head off with the cutlass. Chopped it clean off. Right? He cut the warrior in twain with one sweep of his sword. At the sight of this slain warrior, the Choctaws with their defiant war whoop at once rushed upon De Soto and his men. De Soto placed himself at the head of his men, fighting and retreating. Slowly made his way out of the town into the plain, and continued to retreat until he had reached a considerable distance upon the plain. They pushed the Spaniards back out of Alabama, Mobila. They pushed them out of the town. They pushed them out. Right? They fought so hard that they was able to repel the Spaniards out of the town. Right? This fight lasted for a couple of days, though. Let's check it out. In the meantime, the troopers rushed to secure their horses, which had been tied outside of the walls. The Choctaws at once knocked the chains from the hands and feet of the Indian prisoners, whom De Soto had brought with him, giving them weapons, bade them help destroy the perfidious strangers, right? The Choctaws knocked the chains from the ones that they kept as slaves, freed them, gave them weapons, and was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get in this, right? And in that first rush, the Choctaws killed 5 of the Spaniards, who had been left outside of the walls and were probably exulting over their seeming good fortune and dense masses before the gate. At that moment, De Soto with his cavalry, closely followed by his entry, made a fearful charge upon the disordered mass of Choctaws, who were still on the outside of the enclosures. The terrible slaughter drove them back into the town. Pushed them right back in. So this fight was like a back and forth. It was going back and forth like a argument. For real, they was arguing like a couple. That's what the fight was like. And it lasted an extremely long time. And too many people died, right? And there's a lot of memorabilia that was over there, even in the mounds. And you can find a lot of that stuff in the museums now. They just don't tell you where it came from. Immediately, the Choctaws rushed towards the portholes and towers, and hurled clouds of arrows and spears upon the Spaniards, and again drove them from the walls. Seeing the Spaniards again retreat again, the Choctaws rushed to the gate and fearlessly attacked the Spaniards, fighting them hand to hand and face to face. Hand in hand and face to face, up in front. Brave, courageous warriors, not scared of nothing. Not scared of nothing. And this is the type of stuff that we come from. That type of courage, right? That belief in themselves. And these people lived close with the Great Spirit. They walked with the blessings of the Great Spirit all the time. So off the rip, they always believed that at some point they were being protected by an almighty power, an almighty entity, right? That sword. Oh wait, what is it? 3 long hours did the battle rage, and it lasted longer than that. The Spaniards now retreating in the Choctaws. Like a spectator, De Soto seemed everywhere, moving down right and left, as if his arms had never tired. That sword, which had been so often stained with the blood of the South American, was now red with that of the North American, a still braver race. Ooh, big drop. They saying we braver. Above the mighty din was heard the voice of Tuscaloosa, encouraging his warriors. His tomahawk wielded by his muscular arm ascended and descended in rapid strokes like a meteor across the starry sky. Big drop. Big drop. Because they saying, right? They saying Chief Tuscaloosa was basically an expert with the sword. With the tomahawk. An expert with the tomahawk. Which means he was a skilled fighter. A very, very skilled fighter. And then here again, we have the author using imagery to describe the scenario. Just keep iterating that this man's arms is muscular. That's how I know these niggas were freaky thugs, bro. Freaky thugs. I rock with you, Cushman. You told the truth in this one. But you European dudes, y'all niggas freaky thugs, bro. The way y'all just mesmerizing over the muscular body type of these men is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy. Right? But then it says, but could the feeble bow and arrow and the tomahawk avail against the huge lance and cutlass? What the unprotected body of the Choctaw warrior against the steel-clad body of the Spanish soldier? And at length, the Choctaws were forced to make a permanent retreat within the enclosure of their town, closing the gates after them. And at the same time, the Spaniards made a desperate charge against the gates and walls, but were met with showers of arrows and other missiles. But the infantry, protected by their hucklers, soon hewed the gates to pieces with their battle axes and rushed into the town, while the cavalry remained on the outside to cut to pieces all who might attempt to escape. Then began the carnage too awful to relate. The Spaniards ended up destroying the town. The Choctaws fought the street and the square from the housetop and walls and through the ground. Was covered with and though the ground was covered with their dead and dying relatives and friends, still no living one entreated for water. Hotter and hotter and more bloody waxed the desperate conflict. Often the Choctaws drove the Spaniards out of the town, but to see them return again with demonic fury, they just kept bouncing back, stronger than the last time. But eventually, it's only but so much you could do, especially with the way these folks were pressing. It was heavy on it, and they wanted to take the town of Mobila because of all the luxurious things that they had within the town. You had pearls, gold, abundance of corn, food, these homes, the horses, the animals, livestock, the agriculture. It was abundant. And in order for the Spaniards to establish themselves here in America, they needed that. They needed that. And they was going to do whatever they had to do to get it. But let's continue. At length, the houses were set on fire, and wind blew the smoke and flames in all directions, adding more horror to the scene. Horror. The flames ascended in mighty volumes. The din of strife began to grow fainter. The sun wheeled down, seemingly to rejoice from a sickening scene. Then all was hushed. Mobila was in ruins, and her people slain. For 9 long hours, the battle had raged. 82 Spaniards were killed and 45 horses. At last, poor Choctaws who participated in the fight, all were nearly slain. And Tuscaloosa lost his life in this fight as well. But had he not went down, there would have been no such thing as a Spanish establishment in North America. Promise that. We would have not seen the first colony in the Americas until the 1700s. Promise that. Check this out. I challenge history to show a nation whose people ever displayed a more heroic courage in defense of their country and homes than did Tuscaloosa and his brave people in defending their town, Mabila, Alabama. Alabama, bruh. They put on for their town, though. This man, Chief Tuscaloosa, bro, a notable figure in our history. If we get the chance to even just learn about this man's history, right, or learn about this history from a truth perspective, this will change the direction that our young people are going in, because they have more realistic hero to look up to. This man is a superhero. Chief Tuscaloosa is a superhero. If we want to talk about it in that sense, the man is a superhero, right? He did what he had to do to protect his people. And though they lost their land, right, they still made it count. I wouldn't want to go down without a fight either. I need to fight. I'm a fighting man. I like to fight. I fight for what's right. You understand? Let's go into this other book I got for y'all. Right? And I'm going to save this one for the next stream because we got to add a part 2 to this. Right? But just to make it brief, this is the history of the city of Tuscaloosa, the origins of his name, right? And you already know they got into the story of Chief Tuscaloosa, the cacique, the big dog Tuscaloosa. And like I said, 2 books tell the same story, but it's kind of different on both sides. So just to bring the first page of the story to y'all, we're going to go over it. That being page 18, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right here, they talk about it, right? While at Chahia, De Soto was informed that there were metals of a yellow color to be found at 30 miles to the northward, but that the country was so broken and mountainous that horsemen could not travel through it. Yellow color. There was metals of yellow color. That there was gold. There was gold in Alabama, in Mobila. That was one of his reasons of wanting to come, and take over the city, right? And another thing I want to pay attention to in this book too. In this book, they saying the natives or the Aborigines, instead of calling those people the Cherokees, they called them the Chelokes. And they were the ancestors of some modern Cherokees. These modern Cherokees being Siberians. So who are these Chelokes? I told y'all, these tribal names are all exonyms that were given. They gave these names, but what's a Cherokee? Something else to look up. Yeah, look, July 2nd, 1540, De Soto entered Alabama and arrived at the village of Acoste. Right, he was met by a cacique with 1,500 warriors, telling the story. I want to save this one, right, for another live stream because this one goes more into depth, talks about the history of Tuscaloosa, where the city gets its name from, like I said, and it's going to give us a lot more information that'll help us put a lot of this stuff right here into perspective. Every time you get new information, you're supposed to make new correlations. Go out there and find more things to connect this research to so that you can have more to present, more to provide, more to give people, more to show. That's what it's about. You got to have more to show. That's what I'm about. That's what the Copper Color King is all about. That's what this channel is all about. I'm about having information to provide. Real information, true information, factual information. Things that we can use as references when we're trying to tell a real story. Not his story. Our story. My story. And that's how it is, man. Tuned in with the Copper Color King. Yours truly, man. I love y'all. I thank those who was tuning in. I'm going to drop it in the comments right now, man. I love y'all. Shit, I done had 40 people in this live stream today. I ain't gonna lie. At one time, I think I done broke my own record. I done broke my own record. I love y'all. Continue to support. Continue to show love. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube platforms. We in this bad boy. We ain't going nowhere. We working with MOI to reach the top, man. We gonna create a lot of good content to bring to this platform. So stay in tune, subscribe, and stay in tune for the next one. Let's get to it. Let's do it. It ain't nothing to do it, man. Let's do it.